Okay, so more on dynamic multi-body modeling. I want to thank Alex for giving me that tip. I think it's a really good name, very descriptive. So the question over the weekend was, what do you do about multiple, compound motion in a dynamic multi-body modeling concept as we're putting this together? And I worked on this a little bit over the weekend, not confident that it was going to work, but I think I came up with a method that actually helps that. So what we have in here is kind of like a toy crane model with with a pin and a couple different arms in here. I made sure it was off-center too. It was initially designed to be in the middle of this, but you can make that off-center. So things don't necessarily have to be perfectly symmetrical in order to put a model like this together. And just like with multi-body modeling and the top-down design approach, we have a reference sketch folder up here, like a skeleton sketch folder, which has got all the basic sketches in here that help define the model. And then all the sketches and features that follow below that are dependent upon that. So in regard to compound motion, we could take, just the way we have that sketch set up, we could take that sketch and move that a little bit. We call that a handle over here in our reference sketch folder. We can move that middle point in there and move that around, and you can see everything updates there. We could also take this and actually stretch it. So now we have the ability to make that longer. So one of the biggest advantages of being able to do this is it's fairly quick and easy to put together a part like this using dynamic multi-body modeling without having to go to an assembly, which involves a lot more steps. You get all this stuff done in a part, as you can see. And once you get something that's relatively close, once you play around with this and get the sizes that are fairly close the way you want them, then you can define this a little bit better. You can go back into that sketch, right-click in that sketch, change that value to what you want, and get that updated. You could also put in sketch relations too, and angle dimensions and other things too. So it's very similar to the mate relations that you see in an assembly. It's just that we're doing sketch relations instead and dimensions in order to get this fully defined. So let's take a look at the pin here, just as one last item in here, and just to show you what that means. So we have a dimension here that now is fully defined. So we can make that instead of 42, we can make that 36 inches. Or we can go back into that dimension, double-click in that sketch element in here, and actually define that sketch a little bit better. So now we can take that dimension in here, we can make that driven. Let's try that again. We're going to make that driven. And then if we rebuild that, go to the rebuild button, or Control B does the same thing. Now we can stretch that. It's more dynamic now. We can stretch that out until we get a dimension that we like. Until we get the length that we like, then we can go back into the dimension and change that. So while we're here, and sometimes you'll accidentally get into that, we're going to make that 46 inches, and then we're going to update that, and that's the way that goes. So still putting this together. If you all know of somebody who's doing something similar, I'd like to see what they're doing. I don't know if this is new or not, but let me know if you know of somebody else is doing some of this. Share with me some resources. And this is just a little bit more in regard to compound motion when using dynamic multi-body modeling.